Hey guys, welcome back. This is the Bitcoin market review for November the 9th, 2022. And before we get into the price action, we look at the economic calendar, and we can see yesterday there were no high or medium impact news events, so we can focus solely on price action, and we don't have to worry about any news events when we look at yesterday's price action. Basically what price action did yesterday is it repriced lower, took out yesterday's low, and if we look at the daily chart, hopefully we can see it. We scroll all the way over here, we can see there's a low right here. Let me draw that out as a horizontal line. You can see this low right here, and this low has already been taken. But if we look at yesterday's price action, this is the low it attacked yesterday. So that was yesterday's target. Basically, all it did yesterday was to drop down. You can see big down movement all the way to that low. Okay. Can I delete that? Perfectly. So now let's get into the price action and look for some short setups. So I can tell you there are only short setups in yesterday's price action, which I find are worth showing. And yeah, let's get right into it. So the first setup is on the 5 minute, and it's a setup at around 3:40 AM, and it's right in here. You can see price, in the morning price pushed up, consolidated a bit, and then started to drop down. And then here you can see it moved down, and accelerated a bit right here, dropping below this low, not yet attacking this low. So that's where we think price is going. If we now use the Fib tool right here. Additionally, we want to draw out the fair value gap, which is right here. And if we now look at it, we can see price consolidates here a bit, pushes back up into a premium, touches the fair value gap prior to then reversing and moving down quickly to take out this low. And you can see price drop down very quickly right here, leaving behind a big fair value gap, and that's our next setup. So we can take the Fib tool now from this high to this low, and we also want to draw out the fair value gap right here. Oh, there we go. And we can see price that after breaking this low pushes back up, touches the up close candle fully, like it moves all the way up to the top of the fair value gap, and then it continues down lower to attack yesterday's low. You can see in this drop down we attacked this low and we attacked this low right here, but there's still this low right here which price created in yesterday's drop, and this was the target after this drop. You can see price drop down, not yet fully taking it, only taking the bodies right here, so only the rejection block. Price then moves back up or consolidates in here a bit, and then after 9:30, after the market open, price continues down lower. And this is actually where our next setup is. Right over here. We can see we had some consolidation here, price then pushed up once more and then started to drop down. And in this drop down, price created a fair value gap on the 3 minute, which then was repriced right here, or price moved back up into this fair value gap right here, like this. If you now also draw out the Fib tool, we can see that it's in a premium. Price wicks into the fair value gap, like it doesn't really move into it with a candle body. only wicks into it, touches the up close candle right here, which is the order block. And after staying here for a while, so it stayed here from like 9:45 to like 10:20, so over half an hour, and then price dropped down lower, taking out yesterday's low, and then it continued down lower to eventually attack the old daily low we just looked at. Okay, and from actually you can see this is a setup on the 3-minute, and then right when it starts to drop, we again have a setup on the 1-minute. We've seen this happen before, that a 1-minute setup forms at the end of a higher time frame setup. And I'm gonna leave the 3-minute setup stuff on, and I'm gonna draw out this right here. I'm gonna move this over a bit so we can see the new fair value gap which was created on the 1-minute. You can see price dropped down, took out this low right here. So we have actually that's the wrong one, that's the one I want, with a shifting market structure right here. So price moved down quickly, displacement with a market structure shift. Price then moves back up into this fair value gap, touches the up close candle, which is the order block, and then it starts to drop down right here. Quite a fast move down, and this was the move down which attacked yesterday's low. Okay, so that was a nice setup, and actually the next setup is also on the 1-minute. So I'm just going to delete that right here, and we move to the next setup, which was at 11:20 right here. So you can see price consolidated here a bit, then it started to drop down lower again to attack this low. Where we can see in this drop down we had a confirmed downtrend with a fair value gap right here. And if we also use the Fib tool now, we can see price moves back up into the fair value gap, goes into a premium just slightly, and then it dropped down lower, first taking out this low right here, and then it dropped down lower to take out this low. So nice and quick setup on the 1-minute chart. And now we go back up to the 5-minute chart, because the next setup is on the 5-minute. And it is during lunch, so it's a lunch setup. And it is right here. You can see price drop down, leaving behind a fair value gap right here. Drop down, dropped like this, move down was not below this low. And actually we can use this. It's a continuation setup. And then I want to adjust the fair value gap to this right here. So it's a smaller fair value gap, but still you can see price moved down, moved back up into the fair value gap, touched the up close candle, which is the order block, and then continued down lower. And as I said, it's a lunch setup, so 12:30, so you can decide it for yourself if you want to journal that or not. And as it is a valid setup, but it is a lunch setup, so you have to be careful of those. So the next setup is on the 1-minute again, and it's right after lunch. So right after the lunch hour, we can see price started to drop right here. So this was the setup we just looked at on the 5-minute. What we looked at on the 5-minute was from this high to this low, and then price moved back up into the 5-minute fair value gap. And now we look at the 1-minute setup, which happened right after price started to drop. You can see price starts to drop right here, leaves behind a fair value gap. Price then moves back up into this fair value gap. It has not yet broken this low and this low, so price moves back up, and then moves down quickly, breaking this low, then continues lower to break this low right here. So nice and easy setup on the 1 minute. And now for the last setup, we go back up to the 5-minute chart. And the last setup was right here. You can see price moves down, not too fast, consolidates a little bit, and then it drops down once more. And we have an entry right here prior to this drop. From this high to this low right here, you can see there is a fair value gap right here, or actually two fair value gaps. So that's the first one right here, and then we have another one up here. And you can see price moves down, comes back up into the first fair value gap, moves through it. Actually, we can just a little bit, now it's more accurate, and it moves back up into the second fair value gap, touching the up close candle right here, which is the order block, prior to then accelerating to the downside. And you can see this is quite a quick move down after like 3:30 p.m. So yeah, that was a nice setup on the 5-minute, and it was the last setup for yesterday's price action. Overall, quite nice price action yesterday. As I said, there were no high impact news events or medium impact news events, which tempered with price. So it was just a very nice delivery of price to the downside, which was to be expected after yesterday's drop. We continued down lower to attack an old daily low we looked at in the beginning of this video. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the setups. If you did, leave a like, and as always, if you have any suggestions, just tell me in the comment section down below. And yeah, I hope you have a nice day. I hope you're well, and I hope I see you guys again. Bye.